Olive oil. The color of olive oil comes down to timing. Green, unripe olives make sharp, grassy, deep green oil, while ripe, black olives make something milder and gold. The gap between extra virgin and regular isn't age or brand, it's heat. Extra virgin is pressed cold with no chemicals, keeping a peppery burn from a compound called oleocanthal that works on the body like ibuprofen. Regular olive oil is refined with heat and solvents, which strips that flavor out but raises its smoke point, so extra virgin is saved for drizzling and low-heat cooking, while regular handles the frying pan. The oldest known olive press was found in northern Israel, pressed around 5,800 BC and preserved in clay jars for nearly 8,000 years. Greek Olympic champions were crowned with olive branches cut by a boy whose parents were still living, and Romans graded oil by quality. The finest, freshest pressing went to the elite. Coarser grades went to everyone else. That same prestige still makes it a fraud target. In 2016, Italian police dismantled a network mixing cheap sunflower and soybean oil and exporting it to North America, labeled as Italian extra virgin. Vegetable oil. The bottle just says vegetable oil, but it's almost always soybean oil, America's most used cooking oil, and most people couldn't tell you why soy became the default. The answer traces back to cotton, not soy. In 1911, Procter & Gamble launched Crisco, a solid fat made by hydrogenating cottonseed oil, originally considered a waste byproduct with no real use. Cottonseed oil got expensive by the 1950s, so manufacturers switched the same hydrogenation process to soybeans, and the generic vegetable oil bottle was born. Crisco's early marketing leaned hard on Jewish dietary law. Since it contained no lard or dairy, it could be used in any meal without breaking kosher rules, and Orthodox Jewish households were among its first loyal customers. By the mid-20th century, the American Heart Association had endorsed vegetable oils as a heart-healthy swap for animal fat, cementing soybean oil's place in nearly every processed food in the supermarket. Canola oil. Canola isn't a plant. It's a trademarked name for a specially bred version of rapeseed, invented to get rid of a toxic compound in the original. Rapeseed oil naturally contains high levels of erucic acid linked to heart damage in animal studies. So in the 1970s, Canadian scientists Keith Downey and Baldur Stephenson bred a low erucic acid variety safe for human consumption. The name canola is short for Canadian oil, low acid, registered in 1978. The rebrand wasn't just about safety. Rapeseed comes from the Latin rapum, meaning turnip, but nobody wanted that word on a grocery shelf next to the other kind of rape. Renaming it canola let Canadian farmers sell the same plant family as broccoli and mustard as a clean modern cooking oil, and it's now one of the most widely used oils in North America. Sunflower oil. Sunflowers aren't native to Russia or Ukraine, the countries most associated with sunflower oil today. They're native to North America, and Spanish explorers carried the seeds to Europe purely as an ornamental flower. For 2 centuries, nobody pressed them for oil. Sunflower oil's rise came down to a religious loophole. The Russian Orthodox Church banned most oils and fats during Lent, but sunflower oil wasn't on the list, since it barely existed as a food yet. Russians pressed it anyway, and in 1829, a peasant named Danil Bokharev built the first oil press for sunflower seeds in the village of Alexeyevka. Within decades, Russia was growing over 2 million acres of sunflowers a year, and the crop was re-imported to North America by Russian immigrants, meaning a plant that started in Kansas had to travel to Russia and back before Americans started cooking with it. Peanut oil. Peanuts aren't nuts. They're legumes that grow underground. And peanut oil's popularity has less to do with flavor than with a 5-decade research career built to save southern farms. In the early 1900s, the boll weevil had wiped out much of Alabama's cotton crop, and scientist George Washington Carver pushed farmers toward peanuts instead, since the plant naturally restores nitrogen to depleted soil. Carver went on to develop over 300 uses for peanuts, including cooking oil, though he did not invent peanut butter, a common misattribution. Cotton oil mills across the South were converted to press peanuts instead, turning peanut oil from a byproduct into a commercial product. Its high smoke point later made it the standard for deep frying, from southern fried chicken to whole fried turkeys, and it remains one of the most common oils in Chinese and Southeast Asian cooking. Sesame oil. Sesame oil rarely goes rancid, which is unusual for a plant oil, a property so reliable that ancient traders could store it for years without spoiling, making it one of the oldest oilseed crops in continuous use. Sesame seeds were domesticated somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 years ago, and archaeological evidence shows oil extraction happening in Turkey nearly 2,750 years ago. In Chinese cooking, sesame oil almost always means the toasted, amber-colored version pressed from roasted seeds, which is far more aromatic than the pale, raw seed version used in South Asian and Middle Eastern cooking. The two aren't interchangeable. Raw sesame oil has a mild flavor suited to sautéing, while toasted sesame oil is meant to be added at the very end of cooking, since heat destroys its aroma almost instantly. That toasted version has been recorded in Chinese agricultural texts since at least the 6th century. Coconut oil. Coconut oil is solid at room temperature but melts at body heat, a texture more like butter than any other plant oil, because it's nearly 82% saturated fat, more than butter itself. Virgin coconut oil is cold pressed from fresh coconut meat and keeps its coconut flavor, while refined coconut oil is bleached and deodorized from dried coconut flesh, raising its smoke point but stripping the aroma. Its health reputation is genuinely contested. In 2017, the American Heart Association reviewed 7 controlled trials and found coconut oil raised LDL cholesterol about as much as butter or beef fat and advised against its use, a position the coconut oil industry has pushed back on. Both sides agree on the chemistry. Where they disagree is how much that should matter for a food eaten in typical amounts. Avocado oil. Avocado oil's headline selling point is its smoke point, advertised at up to 520 degrees Fahrenheit, higher than almost any other cooking oil. But that number is often a marketing fiction. A 2020 UC Davis study found 82% of avocado oil sold in the U.S. was rancid or cut with cheaper seed oils before it ever reached the pan, and a 2026 follow-up found the fraud had spread into avocado oil chips, mayonnaise, and salad dressings, with the vast majority of tested products adulterated. Genuine, fresh avocado oil is pressed from the fruit's fatty pulp rather than a seed, which is unusual among cooking oils, and Mexico produces most of the world's supply. The industry only began large-scale production in the U.S. in 2016, meaning the oil is still new enough that regulators haven't set enforceable purity standards, leaving the door open for fraud. Corn oil. Corn oil comes from a part of the kernel most people never think about, the germ, the tiny embryo that makes up only about 10% of a corn kernel's weight but holds roughly 80% of its oil. For decades, it was a leftover of cornstarch and syrup production with no real market of its own until the Corn Products Refining Company launched Mazola in 1911 as the first oil marketed specifically for home cooking. Extracting oil from something that's small requires a 2-step process, mechanical pressing followed by solvent extraction, to pull out enough to be commercially worthwhile. That industrial origin is why corn oil has such a neutral flavor and high smoke point. It was engineered from the start to be an invisible functional cooking fat rather than one prized for taste. Palm oil. Palm oil is naturally deep red orange, not the clear or pale yellow most people picture, colored by carotenoids so concentrated that unrefined palm oil is the richest natural plant source of them on Earth, with roughly 15 times more vitamin A precursors than carrots. The oil palm is native to West and Central Africa, where it's been part of local diets for thousands of years, and it produces up to 10 times more oil per hectare than soybeans, which is why it's now the most used vegetable oil on the planet. That efficiency has a dark history. European traders first industrialized palm oil exports in the 1800s, partly to supply food for ships carrying enslaved people across the Atlantic. Colonial powers later exported the crop to Southeast Asia, and Indonesia and Malaysia now supply over 85% of the world's palm oil, grown on plantations blamed for large-scale rainforest loss. Grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil exists because grape seeds are almost worthless on their own. They yield only 8 to 20% oil by weight, which is why it took the wine industry thousands of years to bother pressing them at all. Grapes have been fermented into wine for at least 8,000 years. But grapeseed oil as a cooking product wasn't developed until French winemakers started pressing their leftover seeds in the 1930s, turning a waste stream into a marketable product. Its high smoke point and neutral taste made it popular with chefs, but that reputation as a healthy oil is disputed. Grapeseed oil is roughly 70% linoleic acid, an unstable fat that can break down into harmful compounds when heated, even before it visibly starts to smoke. Rice bran oil. Rice bran oil comes from a layer of rice that gets thrown away by default. The bran, the outer husk stripped off to turn brown rice into white rice. Rather than discarding it, producers press or solvent extract the oil from that bran layer, yielding a mild nutty oil with a smoke point around 450 degrees Fahrenheit, high enough for deep frying tempura without breaking down. It's been the standard oil for Japanese tempura for generations, prized for producing a crisp, non-greasy finish, and it contains gamma-oryzanol, a naturally occurring antioxidant unique to rice that isn't found in most other cooking oils. Japan, India, and other rice-growing nations remain its biggest consumers, since the raw material is a byproduct of a crop they already produce at massive scale. Mustard oil. Mustard oil is a kitchen staple across India and Bangladesh, prized for the sharp, sinus-clearing heat it adds to hot oil before frying. And most home cooks there have no idea it's effectively banned as a cooking oil in the United States. The oil naturally contains 20 to 40% erucic acid, and 1950s rat studies linked high doses to heart muscle damage, so the FDA never approved it as a food and requires it be labeled for external use only. In India, the Food Safety and Standards Authority permits it freely, and some nutrition researchers there have recommended it as heart-healthy, while no human study has confirmed the rat findings translate to normal cooking amounts. The actual human risk at typical dietary levels remains genuinely unsettled between regulators. Flaxseed oil. Flaxseed oil and linseed oil are the exact same product, sold under two names depending on whether you're eating it or painting with it. The industrial oxidized version is a key ingredient in oil paints and linoleum flooring, while the food-grade version is a supplement. It has the highest concentration of the omega-3 fat, ALA, of any plant oil, but that same chemistry makes it fragile. It goes rancid within weeks of pressing and should never be heated, since heat above roughly 140 degrees Fahrenheit breaks down its omega-3s and can create harmful compounds. That's why flaxseed oil is sold in dark bottles, meant for the fridge, and used only raw, drizzled over food, never used to cook it. Flax itself is one of humanity's oldest cultivated crops, farmed since the Neolithic era for both its oil and its fiber. Walnut oil. Walnut oil turns rancid fast and burns at low heat, which is why it's almost never used to cook. It's a finishing oil, drizzled on afterward, not a frying fat. The Persians were the first to cultivate the large, oil-rich walnuts still grown today, and Greek use of walnut oil dates back to the 4th century BC. It became so valuable that by the 13th century, walnut oil was considered as precious as gold across France's Périgord region, used not just in cooking, but to light cathedrals and as a binder for oil paint. By the 1600s, it was a staple of French cooking, particularly in the southwest, where dedicated walnut oil mills sprang up across the Dordogne and Périgord, a regional habit largely forgotten today outside gourmet kitchens. Safflower oil. Safflower oil is almost flavorless today, but for most of its history, nobody cared about the oil at all. They wanted the flower. Ancient Egyptians used safflower's orange-red pigment to dye the linen wrappings on mummies, and garlands of safflower blossoms were found in Tutankhamun's tomb, placed there to comfort him in the afterlife. Only much later did anyone bother pressing the seeds for cooking oil. Safflower wasn't cultivated in the United States until 1925, and today's oil comes in two distinct types: high linoleic, better for cold uses like dressings, and high oleic, bred to be more heat-stable for frying, meaning two bottles labeled identically can behave very differently in a hot pan. Infused oils. Most truffle oil has never touched a truffle. The overwhelming majority of commercial truffle oil is olive or sunflower oil mixed with a lab-made compound called 2,4-dithiapentane, which mimics the smell of white truffles using a single dominant molecule instead of the dozens that make up a real truffle's aroma. It's legal to label it truffle oil without disclosing this, since there's no U.S. regulation requiring the synthetic aroma to be named as such. Chili and garlic oils, by contrast, are usually exactly what they claim: a neutral base oil steeped or fried with real chilies or garlic to transfer their flavor and heat directly into the fat. The difference matters for safety as much as taste. Garlic infused in oil at room temperature can grow the bacteria that causes botulism, which is why commercial garlic oils are acidified and homemade versions need refrigeration and use within 2 to 4 days.